Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am doing my 31 nights of horror movies, and I am continuing the Friday the 13th series. Here we are with Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter. Yeah, right. This movie came out in 1984. It was directed by Joseph Zito. And the plot is we see that Jason is being taken away, his body is being taken away from that iconic barn, and he goes to the morgue. You think he's finally dead until he just wakes up with no explanation, no real good reason for how he survived getting axed in the face, but he wakes up and he's causing chaos and damage like only he knows how to. He goes back to Camp Crystal Lake, where not only do you have your typical group of teenagers who are going to go there, drink, party, have sex, and eventually die, but we meet a family, for once, who is living out there in the woods near Camp Crystal Lake. They, too, get caught up in this mess. Now, what I think of Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter is, I really enjoy this movie. I do. And it's funny because most of the Friday the 13th movies that I do hold in high regard, that are some of my favorites in the series, some of that is because I grew up with those particular movies. I might have seen them and then rewatched them over and over again. This one, though, this was one of the only ones that I watched just a few years ago for the first time, when I finally bought all the movies and sat down and marathoned them. This was one of the ones that I was like, oh, I had never seen this. Corey Feldman, like I said, as Tommy Jarvis, who Corey Feldman was one of those young child actors who was in everything. In the 80s, he just was in everything. And here, it's interesting to see that he's this kid who is into his effects and his just his horror stuff, his mask. And you think about his age and you go like, well, this could go in a weird, dangerous, and dark direction. But I like seeing him with his mom and his sister, especially his sister is Trish. And I mean, sure, she's attractive, so that helps. They run into this character, Rob, who is somebody that I don't think gets talked about enough in the Friday the 13th franchise. He's somebody who you find out he's looking for Jason. Let's put it this way. He might not know 100% for sure, but he knows that something has happened to his sister who was in part 2. I love that. I love that we finally have an outside character who's connected to a character, a family member, a brother, somebody that it makes sense that they would come looking for revenge or come looking for even just answers. And his death scene, I know I'm getting into a little bit of spoiler territory, but I always do that with these movies especially. His death scene is so hard to watch because not only does he come off when you meet him as the possible hero, as the guy who's gonna save our characters. So in that way, I appreciate the movie having the balls to kill him the way that they do. But him knowing that he's gonna die, he's trapped down there in the basement with Jason, and Jason is killing him. And we don't see like the brutality of it. It's not bloody and gory. It's not like that. We hear him yell, he's killing me, help. I know I saw some people online who actually make fun of that scene or make fun of the character, his death. I'm like, what? How are we making fun of this? This is so fucked up. The group of teenagers that I mentioned, who they're not counselors, they're just going to party because they haven't heard of well, I feel like these teenagers, even if they have heard of these murders that's gone on in this camp, they don't care. Dumb teenagers, high school teenagers, whatever you want to call it, they just want to go out and party. And we meet Crispin Glover, who plays Jimmy. This is right before, like a year before Back to the Future. And he's playing this guy, obviously sort of the nerd of the group, but he does like one of the girls and he does want to maybe take this chance to do something about it. His friend Ted, the two of them are very goofy. It's almost like these two could have gone off and made their like comedy, teen, their own movie. That would have been fun, would have been funny. I would watch it and I would enjoy it. I like them together. So their deaths are that much harder to watch because you wouldn't expected characters like this to get killed, especially the way that they do. It's brutal. It's rough. Personally, I would have liked to have seen Crispin Glover maybe survive, be one of the final survivors with Trish and Tommy, but no, we didn't get that. Jason Voorhees, his look is really menacing. I mean, I say he survived getting hacked in the face, but the look of his skin, when we do see his face, he looks dead or near death, but somehow he's still trucking along. He's still fast. The scene where he burst through the window to grab young Tommy, and to see a kid in danger and peril is something different. Also, when their mother dies, it's like, these people, some of these people don't deserve to die. What happened to the rules of, like, you have to have sex, or you have to be an asshole, or you have to do this and that to die? This Jason's just killing whoever is in his way. But Tommy Jarvis, at the end of the movie, he goes upstairs, shaves his head to make himself look like, or at least look close enough, like a young Jason, to confuse him, pulling the Amy Seal thing off when she pretended to be the mom, while he's pretending to be Jason, talking to him and confusing him, and Tommy hacking him to death and killing him, yelling die, die over again. It's satisfying in a way because it does feel like finale, it does feel like the end, but it also feels like there is something sick and dark in this young kid's future. I don't know. They called it the final chapter. It makes me feel like they wanted to either end this series in a really dark route, or they maybe in the back of their heads thought, hey, maybe we will make another sequel that goes in a different direction. And when this movie made a shitload of money, you better believe they went in that new direction and made another movie. Overall, though, I enjoy this movie. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Do you like it? Is it one of your favorites? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!